So, Chris, we're going to talk about the 45th anniversary of Jaws.
Jaws? 45 years, you say?
Jaws.
Huh.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
As mine. Same with mine. And
45 years. I was talking to my parents the other day. Both of them watched them in the theater. I was like, that must have been a crazy experience. Tell me about it. And they my dad was like, oh, people were screaming. It was so exciting. I was like, I would have loved to have been there for that. You know?
Well, I mean, like this movie was one of the reasons why people were so afraid to go in the water.
Yeah.
Because of how awesome this movie was.
Why people are still afraid to go in the water.
Well, yeah, because then they rewatch Jaws and they're like, oh, yeah, that's right. I don't want no part of this.
Yeah. I mean, to this day, I have not put my toe in an ocean, and it's because of Jaws.
Yeah.
I lived in Vancouver for 2 years with the ocean beside me. Never went in that bitch once.
Michelle and I went in the ocean on our honeymoon.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to lie to you. A part of me was thinking, oh, fuck. Oh, fuck.
Like, so when you're underwater and you can see, like, it's that dark blue, and then does your imagination go a little wild? Like, you could just see a shark coming out of the fucking blue at you?
No word of a lie for me. It was the initial getting into the water was me going like, oh, fuck. But the second that you put your, like, you look underwater and you see swimming turtles, like sea turtles, and you see like all these fish that you've never seen in real life. You're just like, you immediately don't think about anything other than what you're looking at. Like,
really,
it was incredible. It was one of those things where, when we go back, I would love to do the sea turtle swim again, or anything related to that aspect. Yeah. I will never go to Fifth Avenue. I will never do that. That almost killed me. So fuck that shit. The pyramids were incredible. They were really incredible. But to do that again, I'm okay. Like, I'm okay with not seeing the other. Because we saw Chichen Itza, so to see the other ones, I'd be okay not to. But part of me also kind of wants to get into the cenote, because I really wanted to do that. But but yeah, like, all jokes aside, I forgot about sharks the second you start messing around and seeing them. Yeah.
Wow.
And I mean, I was also dealing with like massive amounts of like water in my ear, and I was still just like,
that's right.
I can't get over how, like, it was incredible. It was absolutely incredible.
No, maybe one day. We'll see. If I could put my toe in an ocean.
Although I'm going to make a recommendation. If you're going to do it, get a skull cap.
Yeah?
Yeah, you're going to torch your fucking balding spots.
Oh, yes. Okay.
Yeah, so that's what I would do. I would wear a skull cap.
Yep.
Because,
it's hot out there, eh?
It's not even that hot. It's just the amount of sun, and this is a very tender area.
Yeah.
You know, unless like you're going to run sunblock through your entire scalp, then wear a skull cap.
Okay.
Yeah. That's my recommendation to all you geek pantsers out there who are bald or balding.
Oh, you're balding geeks.
I mean, you're geeks, so you're probably balding.
Yeah, you're probably balding.
Yeah.
So,
but yes, getting back to Jaws. So,
you get a chance to watch it again?
Oh, fuck yeah! We watched it last night.
Nice.
Yep. Yeah, buddy. Watched it last night, and then I did my homework today. So I know that the budget was $9 million.
Very low budget.
And it made $470.7 million.
Yeah. Crazy.
And it held the record for 2 whole years because Star Wars showed up and said, get that shit out of here.
Yeah.
But that's crazy. Like, it's absolutely crazy. Like,
it was the first summer blockbuster.
Yeah, everyone, all of them point back to that. They say it was the first big summer movie, and it was a gamble. Like, they pushed for it, and they got lucky. Like, they managed to make the movie, and then for it to be such a huge success led into Star Wars being made.
Yeah.
You know, so if it wasn't for Jaws being such a huge success, we wouldn't have got Star Wars so soon. We might still have gotten Star Wars at some point, because again, like with the Jaws, it's a very simple concept for this movie, much like Star Wars. Star Wars is basically that sword and sorcery fantasy things set in the sky, like in space. So that's it,
Yeah.
right? But that's probably one of my favorite things about this movie is that it's such a simple plot, and yet it is so good. Like the movie itself isn't just a monster movie. There's so much to it. It's a monster movie,
So much.
yes.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a horror flick, yes. Although I would say it's more of a suspenseful movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's horrific in the sense that we're talking about a shark that eats people, which is real. That happens. It's a buddy comedy as well.
Yep.
You know,
It's so many different things. I'm so happy that like Spielberg got the story and went, no, we're gonna cut all this out. I want a nice, simple adventure flick. Because like the book is crazy. The book's got the frickin' mafia in it. It's got like Hooper having an affair with Brody's wife. It's got Hooper like getting eaten by the shark underwater. It's nuts. Quint gets pulled under by a rope and he's like attached to the shark and he just drowns underwater with his foot attached to a rope.
I'm glad that none of that happened. I'm actually glad that he basically got all the superfluous bullshit out and just said, this is the story right here.
We're gonna trim it right down.
Island, shark, people versus the shark. That's it.
That is it.
You know, but I mean, that's also one of the reasons why the director, Steven Spielberg, I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah, he's only one of the greatest directors ever.
And that's one of the reasons why he is one of the greatest directors ever.
I can honestly say that, like out of all the movies I love, probably Steven Spielberg's directed most of them.
Yeah, it's I was thinking the same thing. I was also trying to think, have I seen a bad Steven Spielberg movie?
I have not seen a bad one. I've seen ones where I'll go, I probably won't watch it again, but never have I ever thought, oh, that was a bad movie.
Yeah, and I was trying to think that too. And I mean, you've watched more, probably a few more than I have, but still, like, it's just one of those, like, it's crazy to think how many movies this guy's made and how many influential movies this guy's made. Like, Jaws alone influenced, well, like I said, it led to Star Wars being made.
Mm-hmm.
But then Alien, sorry.
Alien.
If it wasn't for Jaws, Alien wouldn't have been made.
I mean, like, it's
I don't think it would have been made the way that it was because, I mean, it's hilarious how something as simple as production problems and budget issues was the reason why it took forever to finally see the shark played by Bruce.
Yep.
And how that, just something as simple as that, and all of a sudden you're just like, yeah, but it's amazing. It's so amazing.
It's crazy.
Built
like
the shark to the point that when you finally see it, you shit your fucking pants because you're like,
I know.
Jesus.
Right. So like special effects is by Bob Matty. And that guy, he's a superstar and nobody talks about him. That's the guy that made Bruce happen. I mean, he created this thing. He made it run in salt water. That's why Bruce is hardly in the movie, is because the salt was like fucking up the machinery.
That's what I mean. Like, you've got all these elements, and it's all just happenstance. None of this is planned. Like, I guarantee you, if they could, they would have had the shark out in the open as quickly as possible.
Oh God, yeah.
But in retrospect, I'm so glad that that's how it worked out because, like I said, and the best part is when you finally see the full-on version of the shark, it's not even in like a shark. He's throwing chum. Like, he's literally just like, yeah, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden the shark's there. He's like, holy fuck. And then it's on.
Yeah. It's so great. The whole not showing it is perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, and just the bubbles, the little fin, like, it's there and you don't see it. And that makes it scarier.
Exactly. And that's what I was saying. Like, so we watch, like, I don't want to say that Alien would not have been made, but I don't think it would have been the same because, again, we talked about in our previous Camcast. That's right, Geek Pantsers. We talked about it.
We did.
Where you were about an hour in before you saw the full-fledged alien.
Yep.
Same with Predator. You were an hour in before you saw the full-fledged Predator.
Mm-hmm.
But there was all these little bits and pieces here and there that you were just like, Jesus. like it built it up. It built, and it was like you said, because you didn't see it, it was actually scarier because now your imagination's just like, oh my god.
Exactly.
Hey, did you know that this was the first motion picture to be made on the ocean?
I did know that.
I had a feeling you did.
And did you know that Amity Island was shot in Martha's Vineyard, and every single year on the anniversary of Jaws, they have a showing of it on the ocean on tubes?
I did know that.
How
Did
insane
you
would that
know?
be?
That would be actually awesome. Did you know that there are actually parallels from this movie to Moby Dick?
I did know that.
You did?
I
I'm
did.
I'm intrigued. What are some of these parallels, kind sir?
Some of the parallels. Well, Quint is to me, he's very Ahab in nature.
Oh, you don't say, sir.
Very Ahab in nature.
Would that make Bruce very much like the white whale?
The white sperm whale? Very much so. In fact, so much so that Spielberg wanted to mention Moby Dick in this movie and couldn't get the rights.
That's correct. That's exactly it.
Yeah.
What else is interesting about this?
What else is interesting about it? About what?
Yeah.
The Moby Dick aspect?
Well, like the fact that the boat's name is the Orca, the Orca is a natural enemy of the shark. Oh, this is some interesting stuff here.
That is very good. I like that.
Yes. That's pretty much all I got for those little tidbits.
Is that your trivia? Did you know that the most popular line in the movie, "You're going to need a bigger boat," was improvised? It was not in the script?
Yes, I actually did know that. And you're right. That is one of the most iconic lines in the whole movie.
It's just Roy Schneider saying it for the first time and then backing up and going, "You're going to need a bigger boat." Like, not even in the script. Like, he just saw it for the first time and went, whoa.
I love it, too, when stuff like that happens. Because I always picture, like, in real life, like, when this stuff happens, like, the cast just kind of goes, oh, holy shit. Like, we always talk about it, like, in comedies where they're, like, constantly improvising and stuff like that. But it's always really cool in movies like this where they just go, like, no, man, that's great. Let's do that again.
Yeah.
And again, that's another reason why you've got a guy like Steven Spielberg. For him to be able to sit there and go, let's do that again. Let's try that again and go from there. And next thing you know, that's a not a focal point, but that is like one of the most iconic lines in movie history.
Yeah, easily. The shark cage stuff. Did you read about all that?
But I would like you to tell me all about it. I had some stuff, so I feel like you should.
Or shall we discuss the movie, and when we get to the shark cage, I will bring it up.
I like that. I do like that.
All right, we'll do that. So right off the bat, like this movie, I got great memories attached to it. I got my dad bringing home the VHS from Lebanon's for the kids, not knowing what we were going to watch. And as soon as he put it on,
dad's hilarious.
As soon as he put it on, you just get that doom, and he got that big, that smile he gets when he's pulling us on the tube.
You know what? I actually think, I think the first time I watched Jaws was at your guys' place too.
It horrified me. It literally horrified me, and I can't even imagine what it was doing to my younger brother and sister beside me. But I mean, like, I was in the basement. I knew that our country home was over a well. And for 2 weeks, I thought Bruce was going to jump out of my floor in the bedroom and eat me because he lived in our well.
Little did you know, they do that in Ghost Shark. Were there any bit of water, guess what's coming out? Ghost Shark.
Oh, man.
Puddle on the ground? Yeah, Ghost Shark.
Ghost Shark coming, yep.
You got a glass of water in your hand? Ghost Shark. And sadly, I watched more of that movie than I should have.
I laughed at the premise and I stopped it there.
But then again, I also watched, what is it? Octoshark?
Oh.
And Octoshark is another one where I watched it longer than I should have.
Did you watch House Shark?
No, I did not watch House Shark.
Oh, it's kind of like Ghost Shark, but in a house.
Surprised I didn't hear of House Shark. That's interesting.
Yeah, there's a lot of different sharks out there. All thanks to this movie.
Actually, there's a bunch of movies thanks to this movie. I mentioned Alien, but also Piranha. Yeah, that's right. I mentioned Piranha.
Piranha.
Actually, there's a shit ton. There's like alligator, grizzly.
Yeah.
There's so many. It's crazy how many.
Even Spielberg with Jurassic Park, he pulled so much stuff from Jaws to make Jurassic Park. Like he keeps the
Yeah.
raptors hidden, which makes it scarier, you know?
Well, even the T-Rex.
Even
Tease the T-Rex too.
Yeah. So when you finally do see them, you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah, exactly. Jurassic Park.
Like I was watching this a couple weeks ago or a week ago or so, and I still can't believe that they made this in 1975. It blows my mind.
I can't believe that they made this in 1975 and they only made it for $9 million.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like, I know that I read some reviews where they were talking about how when you actually look at the shark up close, it looks fake and you could totally tell. And it's like, what fucking movie were you watching? Like, yeah. I mean, I know that it's fake.
Obviously,
I know
it's a robotic rubber
everything
shark.
About how it's a robot. And I mean, hell, I even know that they had like seat cushions for Shaw when he was getting eaten. But that thing looked incredible.
Yeah.
And it's not even just like 1975. Like that looked incredible, period. It looked like a real shark, period.
Yeah, 100%.
But yeah, for $9 million, like, I mean, granted, well, I think Robert Shaw was the only big name star.
He was. Yeah, he was pretty much the only
Shader and Dreyfuss were, you know, they were name actors, but they weren't huge. They weren't on the level of Robert Shaw.
No, I think Dreyfuss was actually just kind of starting off at this time.
That's what I think.
Like, this is one of his first roles, I think.
Yeah.
And so Scheider was like doing like small stuff. Like Spielberg.
He was never really.
But he was. Yeah, he wasn't headlining. It
wasn't until this that it was like.
Yeah. So.
But yeah, like that, just that budget alone, like, because today you hear like $9 million, and you're like, how'd that movie get made?
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly though.
Or for $9 million, you would watch. It would be like Octoshark. And I think the $9 million would be mostly like payoffs to certain people to get that movie out there.
Yeah,
because that movie is a pile of garbage.
I wonder why.
I watched this scene. This is why I referenced the scene. This is how dumb this movie is. So it's Octoshark. So it's an amalgamation of a shark and an octopus, right? Yeah. Okay.
Naturally.
For some reason, for whatever reason, I think the shark's hungry. It's eating people, and it grabs this. I can't remember now. Was it a guy or a girl? It doesn't matter. It grabs a person, and instead of taking that person with its tentacle and shoving it in its mouth, it slit that person's throat with its other tentacle and then threw it away. That's it. Yeah. Grabbed him, slit, threw him away. Didn't fucking eat him after that. So maybe he wasn't hungry. Maybe he was just pissed.
Yes.
I don't know. But anyway, back to one of the best shark movies of all time, Jaws.
Jaws.
I just love how like simple it starts off with. Just, you know, beach party, two people fuck off because they want to get like busy. Chick decides, hey, I'm gonna go swimming. She gets eaten, and then it's just like a routine, like, body found on the shoreline, and then that sets the movie off on its pace.
That's it. Brody's like, it's a shark. Mayor's like, no, it's not. It's a boating accident. It's the summer season. We're not shutting down beaches.
You know, it's happened before. You know, it's you know, boats can mangle things to make it look like a shark eats it, and besides, we're gonna make a killing this summer. So shut your fucking mouth, Brody.
Yeah.
Don't say a word.
Yeah. So we get that great opening scene. That's probably one of the best opening scenes ever. In fact, that's right up there with Halloween for me. Like with Michael Myers staring at his sister through the mask. Like that is an iconic opening. Plus, you get that great John Williams score, one of his best scores ever.
I know.
And it's just, it's and the silence with just that buoy, like that bell ringing on the waves.
Oh yeah,
it's such a great opening. Yeah, and then the whole cast, the whole, like right away, we're introduced to pretty much everybody. Like, even Quint kind of has like a little cameo at the beginning. Hooper comes in later in the movie, but
Yeah.
like
But Hooper had to come in later.
he had to come in later. Quint's
Yeah.
intro is amazing. I loved it.
It was so cool.
Just screeching on the blackboard and then gives that great
and then just sitting there and just being like, yeah, $3,000.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll hunt him for 3. Capture him, 10. They're like, get the fuck out of here. Who the fuck you think you are? Get out of here.
You crazy, man.
I love it though. But you're right, like just that whole just right down the chalkboard. I forgot all about that. Because like, yes, this is one of my favorite movies, but I spread this one out. This is one of those ones where I spread out because while I don't think that I will get sick of it, part of me is kind of afraid that I will. You know, like I'm a little bit like, I don't want to like, I don't want to wake up one day and go, oh yeah. Then he runs his fingernails on the chalkboard and taunts them and says, yeah, you know what, I'll catch him and blah, blah, blah. Oh, and guess what? It's Bruce. That's the name, you know, whereas not that I don't know if I could, but you know, it's like Jurassic Park. Like actually Jurassic Park, that one I can watch every year.
Jurassic Park is a movie I never get sick of. That's one
of
the few.
I could watch that.
That is one of the few that I could watch over and over again. I get what you're saying about Jaws. I mean, it's easily one of my favorites all the time. It's kind of like Alien too in that sense. Like Alien, I watch every couple of years. I don't want to watch it all the time.
Yeah.
I do feel like it would lose that specialness I get when I do rewatch it. You know?
I feel like I almost like it better because I forget parts of it. So then I can go, oh yeah, or oh shit, or whatever, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Whereas Jurassic Park, it's so good that I don't know. I guess it's hard to say. Well, you understand what I'm saying because you kind of feel the same way, so you get that.
Oh yeah. Jurassic Park is like one of my favorite, probably outside of What's Eating Gilbert Grape, my favorite movie of all time.
Yeah, I would actually have to put that right up there. One of my favorite movies of all time. I think a big part of that too was seeing that in the theater.
Yeah.
Because that was one of those first movies I saw in the theater where I was just like, so you had that whole aspect of newspaper ad for Jurassic Park, you know, what was it? 650 million years. And they came back or something like that.
Something million years in the making.
Yeah, 650 million years in the making. That's right.
Yeah, that's something right. Like that. And then just the black background with the logo, and that's it.
Oh, yeah, and just Jurassic Park.
Like, and even the trailer had like nothing. It just had like the footsteps and the roar and.
Yeah, you saw the water in the glass. You saw all those things. So this is one of those movies where I would have liked to have seen the trailer for this one. And I think about this now. I'm really going to start doing that with our older movies, with our vintage Geek Pants. Mm-hmm. We should, because I feel like watching the trailers would be an interesting way of seeing how they promoted the movie versus how movies are promoted now.
Yeah.
You know, because like you said, like with Jurassic Park, I remember you're right. Like they showed very little.
They gave you a tease. You got a tease, and it made you go, I got to see this. And it got people talking. You know, today, no doubt about it, trailers show too much.
Oh, yeah. In fact, I'm more amazed when a trailer doesn't show too much. Like, I'm way more impressed by that. Like, even Tenet, the trailers are only benefiting from the fact that we don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah. But, I mean, like, back then you had one trailer pretty much and that was it, you know?
Yeah, there wasn't
now you got
14 trailers.
You got a teaser trailer, 2 trailers, a final trailer. You got trailers for those trailers before they start. You got TV spots, spot 1, 2, 3. I mean, by the time it's all said and done.
Oh, don't forget the Super Bowl spot.
The Super Bowl spot. You've probably seen a good 10 minutes of the entire film by the time you go to watch it. You know?
Yeah.
So I do like with those drive-in theaters opening up in town here. As soon as I see Jaws or Jurassic Park on one of those screens,
I know,
I'm going.
Like, I'm in the same boat. Like the drive-in to see any of those movies. Like the second I see Jurassic Park on the drive-in, that's it. A done deal.
And you know what? If I see Jurassic Park playing, I'm going to look at the weather right away and pray for rain because I want to watch that bitch in the rain.
Oh, that would be awesome. That would be so awesome.
Yeah.
And then if they could do a double bill of like Jurassic Park and Piranha, that would, man, that would just be so cool.
Piranha 2, The Spawning, right?
I think it was the new Spawn.
I think The Spawn. Oh,
I think you're right. It was The Spawning. I think
the
you're
James
right.
Cameron one. Anyway, his first.
Yeah,
movie.
that was definitely. Oh my god.
Yeah.
That's the first. That's the only one I watched. Actually, was the second one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember it because they had the stereotypical crazy mad scientist.
Yeah.
Who looked like a mad scientist. Like from a distance, you're like, that guy. He's crazy. And also, I just remember literally like Piranha jumps out of the water to eat this person's face. Although that movie kind of freaked me out. That movie kind of freaked me out because the piranhas were genetically altered so that they could live in freshwater.
See, when you're a kid, little shit like that freaks you out. I mean, that's
not even little shit. Like if all of a sudden you're thinking like, oh, this could be in freshwater. So why would I go in a lake? This is ridiculous. Is this a closed off lake or does it have any channels going anywhere out of this lake?
Yeah.
It does? I can't go in it.
Yeah.
I can't go in it.
Can a piranha come in here? Okay, I'm not going in. Done.
You know, it was just a movie, Chris. Can you say that freshwater piranhas don't exist? No, I can't. Well, there we go. There we go.
Right. The Blob was just a movie too. Okay. I don't go in phone booths anymore.
Yeah. We're in sewers.
We're in sewer. I've never washed my hands since.
I stay away from any old dude that was near a fucking meteor. I actually really have to watch that movie again. It has been so long since I've seen The Blob.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm looking forward to doing that one too. That'll be
yeah, me too. Me too. So getting back to Jaws, this is a little bit of a tangent. Getting back to Jaws, one of the things I like is that while it is a small cast, and there is still a bit of like moving parts to this. Like I know you're saying like from the book, there was mob elements and there was like infidelity elements, and he basically just took all that out and put like essentially a basic story, which is amazing. But I also like how there's layers to the story because like you have, Brody, who's afraid of the water.
Yep.
Who's also like a New York cop dealing with Amityville Summers, right?
Yep.
And he wants to do the right thing, but the mayor is just like, hey, buddy, relax, chill out. It's just a boat. We don't want to wreck our bottom line here, And then when they kind of say, okay, well, it was a boat or whatever, then when the shark shows up again and kills that woman's boy, like this scene where she comes up to him and smacks him in the face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, fuck. And like, you just feel him. Like, he's literally like, she's right. Like, I knew it was a shark. I let him say it wasn't, and even the coroner too. The coroner immediately was like, no, it was a shark. And then later he's just like, I was wrong. I will stand by the fact that it was a boat, You're like, this is gross. Like this mayor is so gross.
Greasy, just a greasy mayor.
Like, I'm actually glad that I haven't seen him in anything else because if I did, I'd probably be like, he's the bad guy. That guy right there, he's the bad guy.
That guy's going to make bad decisions in this movie. Bad decisions.
Don't even listen to him. Don't listen to him at all. Like even the scene where Brody's like basically like, okay, like, look, sign this. And he's like, because the shark attacked and, killed the kid. And he's just like, he's still just like, but I can't, like, I just, and then finally he's like, fine, let's get this Quint guy in there. But it's not something he ever wanted to do. He was just, it almost was like going against doing the right thing was going against his own nature.
Yeah.
Chemistry is amazing.
Chemistry between everyone
across the board. Like you don't see, you see Brody and his wife long enough to realize, okay, well, but they have a great relationship. Like you could feel it there.
Yeah,
even
like
with his son.
Really great chemistry. I love that part where the son started playing on the boat. And then he's like, get out of the boat. And she's like, oh, they're just kids. And she looks down in his book and sees that picture of the shark eating the boat. She's like, yeah, listen to your father, get out of the boat.
Exactly.
I love that scene. It's so funny.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh man, the cinematography. I love the
Yes.
cinematography in this.
Yeah, that was
Um,
Bill Butler.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Actually, Michelle pointed this out to me, and it's one of the scenes. One of the best scenes in the movie is when they show Brody seeing the shark, and it's just him, and it zooms right in on him.
Yes.
Such a great shot, like
Yeah.
just such a great shot, and I forgot how awesome that shot was. So when Michelle was just like, "This is one of my favorite shots coming up," I was like, "Oh, okay," and I paid attention. I was like, "Yeah, that's awesome."
Yeah, I was also another shot that's really it's a simple shot, but I was watching the making of this, and Spielberg was talking about it, and you know the part on the beach, right before that kid dies, that
Yep.
woman's son dies, and it's Brody just sitting there in his chair and watching people go in, and it shows that bigger woman walking in, and he's watching her, and the camera's going back and forth like this, and he said it just felt so empty to do it just like this, like what is happening. So that's why he had people walk across, and he zoomed it in with every walk, so it would make it look like
Oh,
he's watching her and it's getting more intense, like he's just like getting really worked up about
oh,
time
wow.
going in. Yeah,
That's cool. That is actually really cool.
like little simple things that you wouldn't actually pay attention to when they're explained like that, you just go wow.
Well, the
Like
one thing I didn't know, and Michelle pointed this out to me actually, is in first scene when the Chrissy is getting eaten,
yeah,
her dialogue is actually dubbed over.
yeah.
But there's one of the scenes where she actually says it hurts, and it's because the rigging that they were using to simulate the shark attack was way more forceful than she had anticipated, and it actually was fucking hurting her.
Did you know that when she was doing her redoing her audio for that scene, she had her head back and Spielberg was pouring water down her throat?
Yeah, could you imagine saying that to somebody? Like, okay, so we're gonna get you to redo your lines. While you're saying your lines, I'm gonna pour water down your throat.
Yeah,
Cool?
so you choke and gargle.
Yeah. We'll do as many takes as you like, but it's still gonna dump water down your throat.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh man, it's intense. But yeah,
could you imagine
cinematography
this was
is
a
amazing,
PG rated movie?
right?
It's like,
It still blows me away to this day. I mean, it's 14 in Canada, but still PG in the US. But apparently in 1975, PG-13 didn't exist yet, so it was either
no, they
PG or
had,
restricted.
yeah, they had no real
And I
rating.
think this was one of the movies where they went, we need an in between rating.
Yeah, I believe this is actually, it's because again, like I said too, like, I think what it was 3 years later or 4 years later, you had Alien. Alien was 79, right?
78, so 3 years.
Yeah,
So
so
it's a
what's 78?
75.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, so you had to have that middle point because like there was just, this is the kind of movie where while it's not particularly gory per se,
yeah.
it's the subject matter that actually makes it scarier. And then of course the attacks later, like I mean, Quinn's death is ugh.
That's gruesome. I mean,
Like that's a
the
gruesome
severed
death.
foot falling to the bottom of the ocean. Like
Yeah, exactly. You know,
a young kid our age when we were watching it, get pulled underwater and then blood bubbling up. Like,
or
ugh,
even when they're looking at the one boat when they come across the floating boat
yes,
and
yeah,
they're navigating there, and then you see the dead body there. Like that's another one where you're just like, okay, like there's certain things like kids don't need to see that kind of stuff, and that's the kind of stuff where like you could say, well, you were afraid of sharks for so long after you saw this movie, but I guarantee you probably had nightmares of the dude floating in the water.
yeah,
because
yeah,
because that's the kind of stuff that gets imprinted on your brain. Like the shark, you could at some point go, yeah, you know, but it's a shark and whatever. But
yeah.
you wake up in the middle of the night screaming and you can't figure out why you're screaming. It's because of that guy.
That guy right there. it it made me laugh though when I was watching this, knowing it's PG, and then like thinking about today how kids can't watch like a lot because parents think everything is so offensive, like, and I'm thinking like,
Yeah, it's
can
pretty
you
crazy.
imagine being a kid in 1975 and that was just a normal movie for a kid to watch?
Yeah, but then again, in 1975, you could smoke in a hospital.
Right. Hospital,
You could
plane, wherever you
smoke
wanted.
while you're performing surgery.
Yeah. So there was some problems in 1975.
Yeah, yeah. Never mind the racism. Whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
We already had that Camcast.
Yeah. Whew, man. So once everything is said and done, and they meet back up with Quint, and they're gonna go out with him because nobody is caught. You know, they had that tiger shark where they're all celebrating, and Hooper's
You know what I like about that
Hooper's
though?
no.
I like the tiger shark stuff for a couple of reasons. One is there's the theory on the internet that like early in the movie when the mayor says like when he's talking about how it was a boating accident in terms of Chrissy's death, he says it wasn't or this has happened before. They used that as an allusion to this isn't the first time that there's been a massive shark attack like this.
Mm-hmm.
So they argue that the reason why they found the tiger shark so quickly was because it was just something that they had to have to catch, right? So that they could say, "Hey, we caught the shark, so everything's fine. We can go back in the water." Which
Yeah.
I always get a kick out of that one. But the other part that I like about this is that statistically speaking, a human is going to be attacked and killed by a tiger shark far more than they ever are by a great white.
Yes. Yeah.
Which is hilarious. Like when you think about it, you're like, oh, that's actually kind of funny that the tiger shark is the one they found when in fact the great white is the killer, right?
Yeah.
But that's what I like too is like when you get towards the end of the movie, like I'm going to gloss over the boat there, but at the end it's almost taking on like a supernatural thing because of course now this thing is actually actively targeting them specifically. Yeah. And it's almost like it's moving in ways that a shark couldn't possibly move, you know? But like, that's another element of this movie that I think is really cool, where there's all these different elements to this movie. Now, I mean, obviously it's not a supernatural movie.
No, but they definitely,
those,
they definitely hint that.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, like Quint even like having the 3 barrels on it and then it goes under and he's like, no shark has ever gone under with 3 barrels.
Exactly.
You know? Like,
and in fact, the scene where he starts trying to floor the boat to land,
mm-hmm.
like he's saying, like, I want to get it to shallow waters because it'll be easier to attack. Michelle brought it up, and I thought this is actually really interesting, is she always believes that Quint is actually scared.
Oh, yeah. I 100% think he's scared. He's out of there.
And as soon as she said that, I was like, yeah, actually, that makes a lot of sense because, like you said, the no shark has ever gone under with 3 barrels. So now he's like, fuck this shit. I'm out. But he's got to save face, right? Because he's the big, tough shark hunter.
Yeah.
And, I would never have thought of it like that until she mentioned it. And from moving forward, I'm going to be like, yeah, there's no way he wasn't shitting his pants there.
I mean, anyone would. You look at his room, you see all these shark jaws all over the room, you know, like this guy has killed hundreds of sharks and now he's met this creature that will not.
Yeah, this almost mythical beast that can't be killed, you know, and it's just so good. It's so good.
But I mean, it's like the boat is where the action kicks in, where we start seeing the shark and everything. But we also get so many beautiful like character moments, like Michelle was talking about on Facebook there when I mentioned it. I was just like, she said one of her favorite scenes was the scar scene, and absolutely, it's one of mine too. Like when they're just sitting there talking and comparing scars. And
exactly.
You see Brody pull up a shark, and you see that bullet wound, but then he decides not to talk about it.
Yeah,
you know, like you're like, I want to know that story. You know,
right? Exactly. And then like I like the fact that they start bonding because you get like Shaw's like, you're a fisherman. Ugh, your dad bought your boat. Like, oh, look at your hands. You can barely tie knots. These, you know, like he's basically saying, like, it's like that okay boomer bullshit, right? Where it's just like, you've never worked a day in your life, whereas I've worked every day of my life. I was 3 on my first boat, you know? Like, I used to walk home uphill, front and back.
Yeah, I love that.
Like that shit, you know, where you're like, there was hills everywhere. But you know what I mean? So it's like, there's that aspect. And of course, Hooper is like, oh, okay, yeah, buddy, you're the big fisherman. But then when they start bonding, you know, and they're getting drunk and they're singing that song, and it's just like, now you don't want anyone to die. No one, you know.
And that's like, when the shark attacks. you know, when they're singing and they're happy.
Mhm.
Like, it's like, no,
Exactly.
no, you
Fuck
guys are having too good
this
of a
shit.
time.
You
Like,
know, and they're could you imagine being loaded and all of a sudden now you gotta fix an engine on the ocean? No, thank you.
the friggin' sidewalls are getting caved in. Like,
And the entire way that they shot that was so cool. Like I couldn't imagine being on an actual ocean and shooting it in the 70s where I mean, how much safety precautions are there taken really?
yeah,
Right?
yeah.
But still, like, it's just so great. It's so great.
So that brings us. I'm gonna go talk about the cage scene now.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy.
Cage scene. So like nothing is working against the shark. Nothing. So finally, Hooper's like, let's try the cage. You know,
Yeah.
actually, it's Quint. He goes, what do these darts do? Because
Yeah.
the whole time he's just like blah blah blah, stupid
Yeah.
guy with all his little shit coming
What are
on
you
here,
gonna do with your little tools here?
little
Like,
gizmos, you
yeah.
know. And then finally, he's like, what does this do? Right. But that shark cage, super interesting. They wanted to shoot it. They wanted real shark footage with that cage. But how do you make a shark look as big as Bruce when it's a real shark? You can't, because there's no shark that big, right? So
Right.
they made a miniature cage in Australia. They hired these
Oh,
Natural
wow.
Geographic, like they shot these amazing great white videos. They
Huh.
got this little cage. They hired a little man to dress up like a Hooper and get in this cage, and they
I
lowered
think
this little
actually
cage.
you're supposed to say little person. If you say little man, that's still derogatory.
Little person. Well, it's a man though.
Can't say that.
Little person.
Kenneth, this is
Little person.
coming from a little man telling you, little
Okay.
person.
Little person. A
Even
little
though
person that was male. Is that all right?
that's acceptable. That is
Thank you.
acceptable.
All right.
Although
I'll get it eventually.
the gender shouldn't matter. Come on, Kenneth.
So this genderless little person dresses up like Richard Dreyfuss.
This non-binary,
Yeah.
vertically challenged or vertically different person.
Yeah. And
Do you have to say person if it's non-binary?
I don't know.
I honestly don't know.
I don't even know anymore. It's just
All right. All right. Enough of this before we get shut down.
and then
That's
they
actually
got
really cool that they
Yeah.
basically shot a miniature version of the scene so that they could get the shots where the shark looks ginormous.
Yeah, so like the videographer, he went down in another cage further down and he was shooting upwards at this little cage with all the great whites coming by. And then they
That's
were like,
actually
how
really
are we
cool.
going to get a great white to attack the cage? Because Steven Spielberg needs this great white to attack. Like generally they won't attack, right? But
Exactly, yeah.
this one, its tail apparently got stuck in between the cage and the wire, and it flailed to get out. So that's the footage we see. It's not an attack. It's a shark trying to get
Whoa.
out of this freaking wire that it's
Poor
trapped in.
shark, eh?
Yeah.
The
Poor
shark's
shark.
just swimming along and all of a sudden he's just like, fuck, my tail's caught.
I'm stuck, guys.
The whole time everyone's just like, the footage is amazing. And the shark's
Yeah.
just like, could you help me? I don't want to eat anybody. I just want my tail out of this fucking cage.
If you're gonna watch a making of, I highly recommend watching the making of Jaws. It is so
I don't know
cool.
why I haven't watched the making of Jaws.
Yeah, it's so cool.
That is dumb on my part.
Well,
Lazy.
add it to the watch
you know what?
list.
That's lazy. Yeah, I will add it to the watch list.
Yeah.
Get a couple of cocktails in me, and away we go.
There you go. So, Peter Benchley wrote this book. I've never read the book, and I don't know if I ever will now because I don't like all the little things that were cut out. But
I actually thought about reading the book until you mentioned it at the beginning, and I was like, you know what? I don't really.
Yeah.
I thought it was essentially the screenplay was just a little bit bigger version of the book. I didn't realize that he had like several plot lines.
Oh yeah, he had all of this
as
stuff.
well as the shark aspect.
Like Mayor Vaughn is in the pockets of the mafia, and that's why he refuses to close the beaches because the mafia want their money. And
that to me seems like that's just it didn't need to be. Like just the simple fact this mayor is looking at this loss of a potential payday is good enough.
Yeah.
I don't need he doesn't have to be part of the mob.
It's crazy. Like apparently in the book
stuff
too.
like you were saying, where Cooper is sleeping with Brody's wife, is another one where I'm like, okay, I'm glad we didn't see that in the movie. I mean, it was weird enough when he strolls in and starts eating off Brody's plate. No one's gonna eat this. Boom. Doesn't even wait. He just starts giving her
right into it.
Like shit.
Apparently in the book too, like Bruce dies from Quint stabbing it a bunch of times, and then he throws one last spear into it, and that spear catches Quint and pulls him in, very Moby Dick style, right? And drowns Quint. And then the shark is slowly swimming towards Brody, who's like floating on a seat cushion, and it just like dies from its injuries before it gets to him.
Yeah, see, the way he dies in the movie is it's obviously way more theatrical.
Yeah,
but like this one. Like, yeah, we talked about the similarities, the parallels to Moby Dick, but I feel like that's too much.
Yeah.
You know, like, I like that Quint got, sad as it sounds, I like that he got that big, huge, like, gory end for him. You know, and then I also like that you got...
Oh.
Yeah, but you also get that big, gory end for Bruce. Like, oh.
Actually, Quint being afraid when hanging ashore totally makes sense too. When you see like the look on his face when the ship's like this and Bruce is chomping and he's holding on, and you just see it on his face, and then he falls and he's kicking to try to stay out of the mouth.
like I said, like I never got that until Michelle mentioned that. And the second she mentioned that, I was like, that makes perfect sense. Like, because of course he's not going to be like, hey guys, I'm shitting my pants here. He's just gonna be like, no, we got to go to shallow waters to catch this thing. He's not going to sit there and say, I'm afraid. No. And then you're right. Like, it actually adds to the scene later when he's dying, and that's it. Like, it's sheer terror because he's dying.
Yeah.
Oh, such a good movie. It's a shame that the movie was so successful that it spawned a franchise.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to say that the second one's not as good as the first, but it's still a good movie. But then after that, it's just like, ooh.
It's not bad. After that, it just gets... and then with the third movie, they were getting into CG by then, so the sharks look awful. You know?
Yeah, like, it's just, like, don't do it. Like, just stop. You know, like we talked about the Revenge last Camcast, but it was just... But even before that, like, the third one, it was just, like, okay, cool. It's... why does the shark keep terrorizing this family? You know, like, why can't it just be terrorizing other families? But whatever. Yeah. Regardless, I didn't do the math on that, but for a movie that started at 9 million and to make 470 million is insane.
It's quite a bit of profit.
Insane multiplier right there. Like,
yeah, nuts. Just absolutely crazy. It's forever going to be one of my favorite movies of all time. I have a wonderful childhood memory attached to it of my dad scaring the shit out of us and laughing about it. You know?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Your dad lives for that kind of shit.
Oh, he does. He does. Oh. I was thinking about, I was like, you know what? Fuck. If I have a kid, I'm totally doing that too.
But that's the other part too, is like that if I had a kid, I'd be the same way. Because of course I watched a lot of these movies when I was young too. So it'd just be one of those like, it's
a rite of passage.
Exactly. It is a rite of passage.
My dad did this for me, so I present it to you. Enjoy the nightmares for 2 weeks.
That's right. If not longer.
Yeah. But anyways, so I mean, Jaws, love the movie. I don't...
You know what though? I say that this is one of those movies where I don't want to watch too much.
Yeah.
But the truth is, if I do come across this on TV when I'm flipping channels, I'm watching it.
Oh, same here.
Even if I had just watched it, the reality is I'm going to continue watching it because that's how good it is. But to go out of, like, to say, you know what, I'm going to watch Jaws, I space that out.
Yeah.
That would be the big difference with whereas like Jurassic Park, I'm probably going to watch that in the next couple of weeks or so. Now that we talk about it, I'm like, you know what? It's been a little while since I've seen. I think because you mentioned it, the only reason why I might not is if it doesn't show up on that Boomer Media. Is that what it's called?
Okay, yeah.
The outdoor theater.
Oh, yeah, there's the Interstellar one, and then Boomers. Yeah, Boomers is at Murillo.
Yeah, Boomer's the one that I looked at, and like they've got Goonies. I think you told me about Goonies.
Yeah, they're showing Goonies Saturday and Sunday morning at 11.
Yeah, I'm okay. I love Goonies, but I'm okay. I'm not paying $20 to see Goonies.
Now that I've gone to a drive-in in BC, you got to do a drive-in at night. You can't watch in the daytime. It's not the same.
No,
not the same. So
I mean, granted, yeah, the screen will be able to watch during the day, but I feel like it's a date night thing.
Yeah.
You know?
Go at night. Hope for some rain because it's so cool.
Yeah, it's weird to say that, eh? But yeah.
Yeah. By the way, this looked awesome on 4K.
Of course it did.
It looks so good. I was like, that is one crisp picture for a movie that's older than me.
That's another one of those things where, because Steven Spielberg is an old school guy. So, I mean, is he even filming on digital, or is he still analog?
Oh, he's doing digital now because he did digital for Ready Player One.
That's what I was going to say, because I feel like Ready Player One would have been one of the start of the digital stuff.
Yeah. I don't know when he actually started. He was one of the later ones, though. I mean, he's an old school guy, so.
Well, he would be one of the later ones, though. He wouldn't, like an early adopter. I feel like not so much, not that he would be an early adopter, but I feel like he'd be one of those guys that's like, I'm going to wait until it's reliably good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So. Yeah. Jaws, I mean, that pretty much, like he did Duel before this, but Jaws was just like this friggin' kickstart to a hell of a career. Like he did all three Indiana Jones, Close Encounters, Jurassic Park 1 and 2.
Close Encounters. Oh my God. E.T.
Like, the list goes on. E.T.
I can't believe you didn't say E.T.
Saving Private Ryan. I can't believe I didn't say it either. I can't believe that's another one of my favorite movies. That was my nickname when I was a kid. So
like that was like one of the first I was thinking about. I was just like, yeah, it's like it's Jaws, it's E.T., it's Close Encounters, it's Jurassic Park, Jurassic Park 2. Even though I'm not the biggest fan of that movie, it's still great because he was he had a hand in it.
Yeah, I mean, if you look at it like as an adventure movie standpoint, it's a great adventure movie.
I maintain it. When they're on the island, it's awesome. It's so good.
Like if that was the first movie in the franchise, I would probably love it more than I do, but it's coming off of a perfect movie. Like
yeah, I mean, I guess the other part too is like you run the risk of too much of the same, right?
Right.
Because like I said, like when they're on the island, I'm like, I'm all in. I think it's awesome. It's so good. The second they get off the island, I'm like, it's not as good. But then you go to the third and it's on an island exclusively, not the same one, but a different one. And I'm like, yeah, but it's not, I don't know.
Yeah.
It could have been better.
So I mean we'll see. I mean Jurassic World Dominion's coming out next year, I think. 2021. I think that's what they're aiming for. So
yeah.
I'll probably do a rewatch of the whole series before then.
Of course, you have to.
And I've only watched Fallen Kingdom once still. So like I really feel like I should revisit that and give it another shot.
I'm in the same boat. I've only watched the one time. I got to rewatch it just because.
Yeah.
But again, like I feel like it's a tough call too because much like The Lost World was coming off of Jurassic World, you know, Fallen Kingdom's coming off of Jurassic Park, sorry, and then this one's coming off Jurassic World.
It was the same.
It's kind of hard to be as good.
Yeah.
But again, I don't think my opinion is going to change too much by rewatching it because again, like I've watched The Lost World several times. And to be fair, that is one of those ones that if it showed up on TV, I would watch it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I don't know if I would do that with Fallen Kingdom, because that when they start talking about the cloning and stuff, I literally was like, oh.
Yeah.
That's when I started to go, but of course you're gonna do that, because my gut feels like if we've got cloning humans, what's to stop them from doing dino people like they wanted to do in the first place?
Exactly.
So it's like one of those where I feel like their whole end game is to see half human, half dinos like running into military combat, and it's like, that's why can't it just be dinosaurs? Like, why can't it just be that whole like science run amok thing? Because that's all it is. It's really just scientists saying, "Hey, we need to make dinosaurs," and some people are going, "Don't do that because it's crazy to do that." And then they do that, and shit happens, and then they go, "Well,
Yeah.
you know."
So you got anything else touching Jaws?
Nope, not at all.
I've gone through my list. It's a
I've gone
perfect
through my
movie.
list. I've touched on everything.
It's a
I've
perfect
referenced
movie.
Michelle several times, so she
Yeah.
will be happy about that. But yeah, no, I mean, again, like I said, it's one of my favorite movies of all time. I was pumped that we were doing this one. Way more pumped than was that movie that I kept having to watch?
Dick Tracy?
Dick Tracy. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Way more pumped to do this one than I was with Dick Tracy. Although Dick Tracy was great. It was a good movie.
Oh yeah, great movie.
It's just I don't think I'll ever watch it again.
I mean,
whereas this one I will for sure watch it again.
Yeah,
Hey,
it's
buddy.
a lot more exciting when we're talking about our favorites, you know? There's the handsome boy. Look at that. He's such a good boy.
He's actually been kind of a shit today.
Was a good boy to everybody except the owners.
Yeah, last couple of days it's been one of those things where it's like you almost have to just yell at him to do anything because you're like, Titan, sit. Titan, sit, and you're snapping your finger, and then you're like, Titan, sit, and then he sits like, geez, like I don't, what the fuck's the problem here? And you're like, you don't fucking listen. You know how many pep talks I've had with him this week where I'm just like, you have to listen.
Yeah.
Just listen because I could kill you right now.
And he's the same way. Like when
I'm not going to because I love you, but god damn it.
Yeah.
I want to right now.
When she's really good for a long stretch of time and we're like, oh, she's being really good today. We're like, well, that bad day's coming where she's just going to be a little shit, doesn't listen at all, barks at random crap for no reason.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Or like, well, part of it too is, of course, like right now, he's rocking really old toys, right? So I got to update his toys so that he's really excited to play with those toys. And the other part too is not playing with them outside as much as I should be.
Yeah.
It's the thing I hate the most about fucking allergies is like, I want to do it more. I want to tough through it. But I mean, like sometimes we have these windows open all day, which is fine because you got to keep the heat out or like cool it off as much as possible. But like some of it, it's just like, oh, God. That's the thing I hate about allergies too is like you say allergies and people go, oh, so you sneeze a lot? Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah, that's all it is. Just sneezing.
You're like, and to be fair, I was kind of like that too. Before I got allergies, it was like, oh, you got the sniffles. You got to blow your nose a lot. Maybe sneeze.
Yeah, my nose is so plugged I can't breathe. It's great.
Or it's like constantly got like a nice ring of pain.
Yeah.
Because it's like ravaged because of blowing your nose, or it's so like sensitive because, like, God forbid, dust is anywhere. Anyway, so needlessly, that is a good way of putting it, though. When your dog's really good, brace yourself. Because it's going to be a couple of days
coming.
of where you're just like, what the fuck? And it does kill me when he looks at me like, geez, like, what is the problem? And you're like, the problem is you're not fucking listening. Do you think I want to go coarse getting you to just sit and lay down and not bark and everything? Everything and nothing. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. So So that's it for me. Jaws,
That's it.
awesome.
That's the Jaws Camcast celebrating 45 years.
Yes, this Geek Pants, also awesome.
Awesome.
That shirt, awesome.
Very awesome. Thank you.
That goatee, however, not so much.
Not so much.
Oh, that pause when I said that. So it looked like you were just like, what?
That goatee, on the other hand.
Yeah. Well, no, I'm like, not so much. And then all of a sudden it's just like, what?
The anticipation.
Anyway.
Great chat as always, Chris.
Always a great chat. Always great when the Geek Pantsers show up in full force.
Yeah.
Give us likes, to subscribe. I hate saying it like that though.
Geeks assemble.
That's good. Geek Pantsers assemble. I like that.
Yeah.
That's right. I put a little spin on it.
You did.
Yes.
You lengthened it, but it's more on point to our brand.
Right, exactly, because I keep saying Geek Pantsers.
Pantsers, yes.
Yeah, exactly. It's genderless, which is great. But as always, thank you so much for coming along on this ride with us. We really appreciate everything. As always, you know that you can find us on Facebook. You can find us on Twitter. You can find us on Instagram. You can find us on YouTube, SoundCloud, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, and of course, GeekPantsMedia.com.
Oh, you're doing so good. You're doing so good.
I got a little bit of the tongue tied.
You can also find us at google.com. Just search.
Yeah, just search Geek Pants on google.com or .ca or wherever you yeah. I'm sure you can find us on Yahoo as well.
We're around. We got a page on MySpace. You got to check that out.
Yeah. Also, let us know what your favorite movie of all time is. Let us know if you like Jaws, if you think Jaws is as great as we've said it is, or even things that you liked about Jaws that we didn't talk about. Mm-hmm. Let us know how you feel about The Last of Us 2. But, be cool about it. Be respectful. I'm not looking for a hate thing. I'm looking for a debate, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Other than that, start sending us pictures of the T-shirts that you have, your geek shirts. Let's see that.
Oh, yeah. Let's see if you got more in your collection than we do.
You probably do, because I think I only have like 10 shirts, and most of them are Superman.
That Nightwing's starting to show its wear.
You know why? Because I fight crime in it. That's why.
Oh!
That's right. Although the Spider-Man is starting to creep up. I'm now up to 3 Spider-Man. Let's see, 3 Spider-Man. Yep. 3 Batman, and then of course like 1 Captain America, 1 Nightwing, and like 18 Superman shirts. I got a lot of Superman shirts for obvious reasons.
Yeah, obvious reasons. All right, everyone. We will see you next time. I don't know what we're doing next. We'll figure that one out, eh?
Later's on the Menjay.
I didn't even attempt it this time.
Nope.